Hey kids, welcome to the end of the chapter. We are going to close out chapter 6 with Box-and-Whisker Plots. This section and the previous one, 6.6, feel a little disconnected from the rest of the chapter. That's okay, I guess, and however they do seem to be related to each other. 6.6 and 6.7 go together. Previously we did some stem and leaf plots, which we are going to use to launch into this lesson. And so now we are going to see how that relates to stem and whisker plots, which is what our objective is for this one. Before we jump in, just realize we do our best to make good videos, but this isn't going to be the most amazing, incredible math lesson. Different teachers will do it a different way, and that's totally fine. This is just to help kids from home who need a little refresher or have been absent. So let's do a run through of stem and leaf plots. This example is related to pull-ups that can be done in 1 minute, and this is the different results from that test. Obviously I wasn't part of it because I would be a big 0 in there, but anyway. For a ordered stem and leaf plot, you'll need to find the range. So the smallest number is 5 and the largest number is 34, so I'll number from 0 to 3 because I have single digit numbers all the way up to the 30s. And then I will need to write the leaves in order. So there's the smallest 5, 7, and then 9. So notice I didn't go 7, 5, and 9. I went in order. 2 11s, 12, 16, 17, 19, sorry, 25, 29, sorry, that's an 8, and 34. As usual, make sure that you have things lined up vertically and that you're not using commas to separate each of your leaves. We also did a review of, we also previously did mean, median, mode, so we can review that quickly. The mean is the average, so add them all up and divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 numbers. And I believe if you take the time to do that, you'll get 16.16 repeating. To condense this, I found that ahead of time. The median would be the halfway point of all of these numbers. So half of 12 is 6, but that 12 is an even number, so we need to find an average of the 6th and 7th number. So 12 and 16 make 28. 28 over 2 is 14. Or you could say halfway between 12 and 16 is 14. And then we'll find our most common number or the most frequent number, which was 11. Remember, if there isn't one, you can write the word none. If there are multiple ones, just list them separately and separate with a comma. Okay, so let's see how that relates to box and whisker plots, which is the point of this lesson. Honestly, if you needed to do one of these in real life, you would likely use some form of technology that would generate this for you. However, it is good for you to know what that computer is doing for you. So is it practical for you to do this from scratch? No. Is it good for you to know what you're doing? Absolutely. So this is why we do a quick lesson on it, but we don't drag this through for the rest of the year. Okay, so box and whisker plots absolutely must be drawn to scale. And so we are going to use a ruler so that we can get a regular unit of measurement. In order to do a box and whisker plot, we need to find what's called the first quartile, the second quartile, and the third quartile. And it seems a little bit backwards, but we actually start with the second quartile. So the second quartile is the median of all of the numbers, and we found that already. It's here. These two are the same number. So the second quartile is 14. Now I already set this up for us. We know that the range we found above was between 5 and 34. So I started my box and whisker plots by making a line and marking out every centimeter. I couldn't count by 1 to get from 5 to 34, so for mine, each of these marks is worth 2. That will be something that you'll need to figure on your own when you do your own. So for the sake of ease, I have this pre-prepared for you, and so we're going to say that 14 is right there. Now for the first quartile, we want to find the median for the first half of the numbers. So we said before that the median of all of the numbers is the halfway point between all 12 numbers. So the median is between these two numbers. Well, now we're trying to find the median of the first half of the numbers. So what's the middle number of those 6 numbers? Because I have 6 numbers, again, I have to take the average of the center 2, which would be 11 and 9. 11 and 9 make 20. 20 over 2 is 10. Or you could say the median of 9 and 11 is 10. Okay, and so if these are by 2s, this is 14, 12, and 10. And now we'll repeat the process for the third quartile, which is the median of the second half of the numbers. So we'll go back up here again. So we have our last 6 numbers, and the halfway point would be the third and fourth numbers, the average of them, the average of 19 and 25. 19 and 25 is 44. 44 over 2 is 22. Or the halfway point between 19 and 25 is 22. So if this was 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. Okay, so those are your first quartile and third quartile. And then finally, we need to label our range as well. So we said the smallest number was 5. So here's 10, 8, 6, 7, 5. So this is our smallest number. And the highest number is 34. This is 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34. This guy should be over a little bit, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, the final format of this is where we erase the lines that we used kind of to base our stem and leaf plot. The final format is only this box. It's actually a rectangle with a middle marked, that's the second quartile, and then the whiskers, like so. And what we'll be looking for is these 5 numbers here. Okay. Another thing to note here is that a range is the difference, so that means subtraction, between the smallest number and the largest number. So the difference between 34 and 5 is 29. So this box and whisker plot spans 29 numbers. All right, I hope that was, oh, I almost skipped the homework. You're not that lucky. Sorry. All right, here we go. Can you see that? All right. So here's your homework. You do not have to draw 17 box and whisker charts. That would be kind of silly. For letters A through D, you'll need to match those with numbers 1 through 4. I highly recommend that you determine what the second quartile is and then match that to the second quartile in the box and whiskers chart. You can do it another way if you'd prefer, but that's what I recommend that you do. Numbers 5 through 8, you are to find the first, the second, and the third quartiles. So that is what we did when we did our box and whiskers chart, like so. So you'll find 1, 2, 3, and you'll list them 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then you will only do number 9, draw a box and whisker plot of that data. I will advise you that the range here is, I think, 24, and if you use a blank piece of computer paper and a ruler, 24 centimeters will fit on a piece of paper, so that would make it a little bit easier for yourself. There is one thing that I did want to make mention of. Sorry. It's on the back side of your notes, and this is kind of a homework help for you. And my copy is color-coded. I like mine better. I'll just color-code it while I talk you through it. This is on the back side of your notes. I wanted to explain it to you, but not until after you saw the homework. Things change if there is an odd or an even number of data. So you know already, if there's an even number of data, you have to take the average of the middle two numbers, right? So here's my median here. I need to find the average of 5 and 6 to get quartile 2, so 5.5. Notice these are 2, 1, 3. I didn't put them in order. I put them in the order that you would find them, right? Okay. To find quartile 1, you are going to focus on only the left side, the small side. And when you do that, you do include this 5 here that you use to find quartile 2. So your quartile 1 is this 3, and quartile 3 will be this 8. Again, you use those numbers again. If there's an even number of data, again, and again, you're going to take the average, which is what we had, the 5.5 like before, and you are going to throw in those numbers again when you find quartile 1 and 3. See here how I have 4 on the left? We have to take the average again. So the average of 2 and 3 is 2.5. The average of 7 and 8 is 7.5. Okay. The other last situation that you may find is when you have an odd number of data. The middle number is easy to find. You don't have to find an average, which is nice. But when you are looking for the first quartile, it's confusing whether or not you include that middle number or not. So when you are doing that, you exclude the middle number to find quartiles 1 and 3. So when I'm looking for quartile 1, get rid of that guy. Second quartile is 3. Looking at this half, get rid of that, is 8. Okay? All right, so hopefully that will help you, especially with questions 5 through 8. Because sometimes there's an even number, sometimes there's an odd number of data, and you'll need to know what to do with that. Okay, great. If you have any questions at all, of course, feel free to send me an email. And I'm happy to help. Otherwise, I'll see you kids in class. Thanks a bunch. Bye.